Alright, we're getting ready to learn about pedigrees in here. But before we start diving into pedigrees, you have to know some vocabulary first to be successful. So, with pedigrees, there's one thing you can learn about, and that is sex-linked traits. Alright, obviously, emphasis on the sex-linked because obviously that's going to be talking about males and females. Now, we know traits can be found on the chromosomes, okay? But we need to figure out what the male and female chromosomes are, okay? So, if you remember, the male is XY and the female is XX. Alright, you see how it's written there. Male XY, female XX. You need to have that memorized in order to understand the sex-linked traits when you deal with passing on of traits. Alright, the next thing you need to know is how they are affected with a certain trait, okay? For example, some of the common ones we talk about are baldness, color blindness, hemophilia, and also sickle cell anemia, which are all sex-linked traits, the trait being maybe baldness, okay, whatever we may be studying. All right, so let me write an example of how those traits are passed on and show you. All right, so first up is the females. For a female to be affected with some sex-linked trait, they have to have both of their sex chromosomes. So both of these X's have to have the recessive alleles. You see here that we have a female indicated by two X chromosomes, and we see we have two recessive alleles because a recessive is written as a lowercase. So both of these X's have the lowercase. So this person would have some sex-linked trait. Alright, so first up is the females. For a female to be affected with some sex-linked trait, they have to have both of their sex chromosomes. So both of these X's have to have the recessive alleles. You see here that we have a female indicated by two X chromosomes, and we see we have two recessive alleles because a recessive is written as a lowercase. So both of these X's have the lowercase. So this person would have some sex-linked trait. All right, another thing you need to know is this is super important. Males that are affected with a sex-linked trait only have the one X chromosome has to have the recessive allele. You see right here we have, this is a male because of X and Y. We see we have a lowercase h, which means that's a recessive trait, and it is on that one X, which means this male will have the affected sex-linked trait that we may be studying. All right, the next one here, I want you guys to work some example problems. I want you to look at these male and females, and I need you to tell me if they're going to be affected or not affected with a sex-linked trait. Okay, so pause the video, see if you can figure it out. All right, you can see here that we have a female not affected, female affected, male affected, and male not affected. Okay, hopefully you got those right. Remember, looking at these recessive traits on the X chromosome is what you need to do to figure this out, okay? Females have to have both recessives to be affected. The male only has to have one recessive on his X to be affected.